it's around 50% there as well. Whereas in the Huntington population, at the high-risk group, 85% actually fell at follow-up. So there's a substantial predictive validity of this care planning protocol within neurological conditions. There's also a number of scales and risk algorithms that are useful within the INTRI family of instruments. So one of the decision support algorithms we have is something called the MAPLE algorithm, which can be used to prioritize people from low to very high risk groups using a combination of variables including ADL, cognition, behavior, falls, and so on, to identify people who should be a high priority for access to community-based services and who would be at high risk of caregiver distress as well as institutionalization. If we look at the different neurological populations, we see different MAPLE distributions. So in the general non-neurological population, around 30% have are in the low category of MAPLE, compared to only around 5% or less in the very high category. But for people with Alzheimer's and related dementia, only about 3 or 4% are in the two bottom categories, and over 30% are in the very high MAPLE category, which predicts risk of a nursing home admission, risk of caregiver distress, indications that the person would be better off elsewhere are some of the markers that we took a look at. If we look at rates of caregiver distress, we see a clear relationship between the MAPLE scores going from low to very high, where caregiver distress rates go from an average of around 8% to an average around 40% in the very high group. But people with Parkinson's disease and Alzheimer's, even within that very high group, have much higher rates of caregiver distress than